You don't become a leader when someone gives you a title. You become a leader when people choose to follow you. But here's what most people get wrong about leadership. They think it's about telling people what to do, making people respect them, being the loudest person in the room and making all the decisions. You see, that's not leadership. That's just management. Okay. What's real leadership? Real leadership is about influence. And influence isn't about forcing people to do what you want. It's about them taking ownership of decisions and feeling like they actually want to do it. Because at the end of the day, here's what a true leader does. A true leader doesn't create more followers. A true leader creates more followers. You see, most people try to influence other people, though, without even knowing how to influence themselves. It's very, very interesting, because for you to become a world-class leader right now, you've got to lead yourself. Have you ever heard of self-leadership? That is the key, my friends. And in sales, you've got to lead yourself before you lead others. Whether you're leading a team of sales professionals or whether you're leading a prospect who ultimately wants to buy your products or service. If you don't practice self-leadership, if you don't lead yourself first, you are not going to lead the prospect into buying your product or service. So in this video, I want to give you some tips on how you can lead yourself better so that you can lead better conversations and have more people follow you, whether that's your sales team or whether that's your prospects wanting to buy from you. It's entirely up to you. Now, why should you even listen to me? My name is Jason James. Over the last 10 years, I have taken what I used to do in psychiatry and put it right here into sales. As a former psychiatric nurse, I've taken the principles of influence that I used to use in high stakes situations. These are some of the persuasion techniques that were being used even right now all over the world in high stake negotiation situations by secret services to you name it. People are using these techniques, and I took them, put them into sales, and I thought, hey, this stuff works. Why? Because it's based on human behavior. It allowed me to personally do over 22 million in sales, and my clients have gone on to do over 200 million using these exact same things. And I want you to learn this stuff, and it's actually the stuff that I teach inside of my academy, and it's called the Invisible Sales Method. It doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. It's my unique mechanism of how I get people to sell without selling, without needing scripts, just by understanding human psychology and memorizing 7 words. And in this video, I want to give you some help and give you some of the principles around the Invisible Sales Method that you can use to start getting more sales. So let's get stuck into this. So whether you are a sales professional selling someone else's products or services, or an independent closer, or selling your own products or services, or managing a team of people, you've got to lead yourself first, because at the end of the day, self-leadership is crucial. So what's the number one principle for me when it comes to self-leadership? Accountability, responsibility, right? And that, look, I'm sure I'm not the first person to tell you this, but no one's coming to save you. You've got to take responsibility for yourself. Even when someone doesn't buy from you, you've got to take responsibility for that. Now, I hear so many people at times, and I've trained tens of thousands of people all across the world. I've won 9 awards as an international speaker. I've shared stages with so many industry giants, from your Les Browns to your Gary Vaynerchuks to your Deepak Chopras, you name it. I've been on stage all over the world with people, and I've trained so many sales professionals that I always hear things like, Jason, it wasn't my fault. The prospect couldn't afford it. They didn't have the money. They didn't have the money. And I'm like, okay, so you're not taking accountability, which is not good self-leadership. So let me ask you a question. Why were you talking to them in the first place? And they're like, well, the lead came through, so I dialed them up. I booked the call. Like, I was like, great, yeah, but why were you speaking to them in the first place if they had no money? And they go, well, because I just wanted to try and close them. I'm like, well, take responsibility. Either before you have the call, you disqualify them because they don't have any money, or you ask some questions before they come on the call to basically say, hey, look, if we decide to move forwards together, there's going to be an investment required. Do you have the funds available, or are you willing to raise the funds to be able to invest in solving your problem right now? And if the answer is still no, 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 then why would you waste your time speaking to them? Now, I know why people do it. It's because for most sales professionals, it's hard to get a sales call anyway. So we superficially trick ourselves into filling our diary with loads of people, because at the end of the day, sales calls sometimes they don't come very often. So we'll take whatever we can get, but you're just setting yourself up for failure. I'd rather you had one solid sales call today with a super duper triple qualified prospect than you fill your diary up with 5 time wasters. Because not only does it waste your time, but it chips away your self-worth and your self-esteem. So anyway, I digress. That's a different topic. But my point is very, very simple. Take ownership. Because in life, there's something called cause and effect. People who live on the side of effect are always blaming, just like the sales professional who blames the prospect who didn't have the money. It's their fault, Jess, they didn't have the money. It's their fault, they didn't have the right mindset. It's their fault, it's their fault, it's their fault. Look, if we carry on doing this effect mentality, we're always going to feel sorry for ourselves. We're always going to point blame, and it's super disempowering. Just listen to that for a second, okay? Blaming someone else. Is that empowering you or taking your power away? Because now what you're, especially sales professionals, now what you're saying as a sales professional, it's not my fault, Jess. It's the client. They didn't have any money. How disempowering is that for you? There's no control in that. It's so weak, right? However, people on the side of cause take responsibility, self-leadership, and ask themselves, hey, how have I created this so it doesn't happen again? How did I create this situation? Oh, I know. I didn't ask enough financial qualification questions over here. I didn't probe the prospect more before I asked for the sale. Or I didn't actually stack up the value enough, because let's be perfectly honest, you know, when people say they don't have any money, you and I both know that's not always the case. Now, there are genuine cases where people are like scraping to freaking, keep a roof over their head for their 2 kids and stuff. I believe in ethical selling. I would not take their money. Personally, I know a lot of people would say, no, Justin, just take their money. They need to learn the hard way. Nah, I don't need that on my conscience. I'm good. I'm all good. If they go homeless tomorrow and their kids can't get fed because I told them to drop 5K on something that they couldn't really afford, then no, I'm good. I'm a nurse, guys. Look, you're not going to take the nurse out of me. So if any of you want to go and close someone who's about to be homeless, knock yourself out. Don't come and follow me. I'm not that guy. However, there are people who do have the money really, and they can find the money really, and they're not dying because they found money to go on holiday last week. So they clearly can find money for this. So now I know it's the value. I'm not proposing enough value. They don't see the value. They don't see any value in it. This is why they're not pulling their checkbook out and finding the money, because you've all had to find the money before when it really, really mattered. Okay, you've done it before, so this person can do it too. So again, if I'm on the side of cause, I want to look at what is it about me? How have I created this? I want you to write that question down. If you're driving or listening to this, or or you're watching this while you're on a treadmill somewhere, or whatever it is, I want you to make a mental note if you can't write it down. Anytime something doesn't go your way, i.e. in sales, a prospect doesn't buy from you, I want you to ask yourself this very powerful question: how have I created this? And if you look back at your recording, if you look back at the call, you will pick out where you have created that situation. Just look at the entire pipeline. How have you created this? Look, when I first start working with companies, the first thing I do is go, right, tell me your pipeline. Tell me from A to Z what happens. What's the client journey? Right from your ad right through to them buying. Talk to me. What are all the steps? Okay? Because if I can look at all the steps in what's going on, I can do what's called root cause analysis. I can actually find out exactly where it's broken. I can find the single points of failure, and then I can actually create a solution for that. And that only happens when you use cause, not effect. Can't keep blaming people. And this happens a lot in any company. The salespeople will blame the marketers will blame the salespeople, right? Marketers will say, the salespeople don't know how to close. The salespeople say the leads are shit. And they're just arguing all the time. So someone's telling the truth, someone's not telling. I don't care really. I just want to figure out what's the root cause, what's really going on. Because at the end of the day, I'm sorry, if the marketers are actually putting out the right message, they're getting qualified leads coming in, they're getting the right people booking calls, they're actually getting people to show up to the call, and the closer's not closing them, then blaming the salesperson is not true. There's something wrong with that salesperson. Now I need to go a bit deeper. Now I need to double click on that salesperson's call and listen to them and find out, hey, what are they doing that's making this qualified prospect, because it's verified throughout the whole process, qualified prospect not buy? I want to know what's going on. And by doing that, I can fix the problem. This is making sense. And this only happens, my friends, in self-leadership, when you take accountability for yourself. This is the powerful question I want you to take away from this video. How have I created this? And when you live on the side of a cause in sales, self-leadership starts to truly, truly prevail, because then you take ownership of stuff. That also means taking ownership when you've done something wrong. Look, if you're leading your team right now and you've done something wrong, don't let your ego kick in and just go, well, I'm the leader, I'm in charge, they don't get to question me. Take ownership of it. Take ownership. Like, put your hand up. If you've messed up, you've messed up. I've been doing this for years. Even when I was employing teams in my care business, I didn't always get things right. I was far from perfect, but I gained so much respect by being honest with them and saying, hey, listen, I messed up. I've not been the right leader for you guys. I'm going to make it right. Here's what I'm going to do. They respected me more than trying to lie my way out of it or deny what's going on. So if you're managing a team, own your stuff, be a true leader. If you are dealing with customers right now and you've messed up, put your hand up. That's what true leadership is. Take ownership, saying, hey, Mrs. Jones, I messed up and it's unacceptable. And you, as my client, should not have to go through this. Here's what I'm going to do to put it right. And here's what I'm going to do to make it feel even better because you shouldn't have gone through that. Please accept my sincere apologies. That's real leadership. You see, most people, especially when it comes to customer service, they just want someone to say sorry and take ownership. You've been on the receiving end of poor customer service, right? You've been on the receiving end when someone's denying what's going on or making you feel like you're stupid. How does it make you feel? Exactly, right? So anyway, my point is take ownership, my friends. Whether you're leading a team, whether you're leading the prospect, take ownership. Self-leadership creates more leadership. And that way, my friends, you create more leaders, not followers. You want people to become leaders. You want people to lead themselves. You don't want to create more followers, right? So that's how you do it in sales. And if you enjoyed this video, then like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And I want to extend an invitation to you. I want to put my hand out to you right now. If right this very moment, you know deep down as a sales rep, as a closer, as someone selling someone else's products or services or selling your own services or managing a team, if deep down you know right this very moment, you are letting leads slip through the crack, you are letting them get away when you could have closed more people, and you don't really want to burn more money on generating leads or burn more time networking to get more leads, and you want to convert more to conversations that you're already having without taking loads of time off the floor, without using scripts, and without having to retrain yourself for copious months on end, then come and work with me on the Invisible Sales Academy. I can get you results within 24 hours after you join, providing you do what I ask you to do. And the best bit is to find out whether you can join or not costs you nothing. Nothing. In fact, we have a very strict application process where we have a zero pitch policy on our first call. In fact, our first conversation with you is very, very quick. It'll either be with me or one of my executive team just to figure out where you're at, where you want to be, if we're the right fit for each other. If we are, we'll book in to the next logical step and we'll talk you through some of our options. We've got options for you if you're an individual, if you're an organization, whatever budget you're working with. We can help you. But what I can't do is work with people who don't have something to sell or have never really spoken to any prospects, because that's not for you. If you're someone who's already selling and you want to get great, not good, you want to be great, come and hang out with me. I'm going to teach you something that's going to give you the inner edge over absolutely everyone. You'll be ethically outselling your competitors and they won't even know how the heck you are doing it. It's the most unique secret kept in sales that no one else knows about apart from my inner circle. I want to share this stuff with you so you can get some phenomenal results, because when you're banking more money, look, banking more money will massively help you, but it'll massively help other people as well. Okay, and let's be perfectly honest, who doesn't want to make more money? Think about it. Okay, so comment the word sales down below and I'll send you a personal invitation, or there may be a link in the description for you to click to apply. However you do that, just get in touch. Look, you're a grown adult, you know how to reach me if you want to reach me. Just comment sales down below or click the link. Let me send you an invitation personally to talk to me, and if it's the right fit, let's do some business together. I would absolutely love to take you through to the Invisible Sales Academy. And if you haven't done so already, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell now, because I'm trying to grow this channel so we can make sales great again. I want to get more people like you to go and crush it in sales so that we can make this world a better place, because sales changes lives. So until next time, I wish you all the wealth, health, success, and happiness that you truly, truly deserve.